Hey everyone out there on YouTube, this is Chris McKee with Alamo Music Center in San Antonio, Texas. You can find us online at alamomusic.com. Today we're here with a comparison between the Blackstar ID Core Stereo 40 and Fender's new for 2017 Mustang GT40. Now both of these represent tabletop amps, basically small 40-watt amplifiers that have modeling capabilities and onboard effects that you can use as an entry-level practice amp, or if you are a more seasoned player, as kind of a desktop amp. This is what I think these would be great for. Put it on your desk at home, you can plug in, you can use it to play back music as well. It's a great practice tool, and they come loaded with more and more features. And that's really apparent in the new Mustang GT40 over here to my right. This is brand new, they were just released, and it is in the same market as this ID Core Stereo 40. Basically, we're at around the $200 price point, give or take. They're the same wattage, they both have 2x12 6.25-inch speakers in them. They both have onboard effects, and they are somewhat modeling amps. Now, what you're going to find as we go over the features is that for 50 bucks more, the GT40 has a lot more to it. There's more functionality, there's more features. That's not to take anything away from the Blackstar, it just simply is what it is. Blackstar makes great amplifiers. They're a British company, and they make things with that British voice, but they also include their ISF knob, which basically is a global EQ that allows you to customize and give you more of a American voicing, if you will. Basically a Fender-esque voice, but shh, that's between you and me and the internet. But you know, they've been making amps for a long time, a lot of features, and some of their stuff in the ID line is some of my favorite amps that are out there on the market, particularly when you're dealing with things that have modeling capabilities. What Fender has brought to the market with their update to the Mustang line is really a lot of options, a lot of customization, a lot of ability for creativity. And so these are great practice rock and roll amps. That's right, rock and roll amps. I mean, look at this dad bod and this haircut. If you want to know about rock and roll, you've come to the right place. And I know you think I'm kidding, but if you've been to a rock show recently, you know I'm totally on point with this dad bod and this haircut when it comes to rock and roll. Anyways, enough about me, let's talk about the amps. So what we're doing is we're running into these amps a brand new 2017 Gibson Les Paul Standard with an amazing top on it. And of course that top makes it sound better. And we're running through an A/B switch on the floor into each of these amps so that we can do a side-by-side comparison. And we're going to run through the amps both clean and with some overdrive on them, but without too many effects, because I want you to hear what the amps really sound like on their own. And let's be honest, other than having some reverb on here, the name of the game as far as effects, the GT is going to win in a landslide. There's some modulation, delay, and reverb effects on the Blackstar, but it pales in comparison to the options that you have through the color screen or even the app on the Mustang GT40. So what we'd rather focus on is the sound that you get out of both amps. So the first tone that we're going to look at with these is an overdriven tone, and I spent some time with these amps and kind of tried to dial in something that was somewhat similar. They have very different personalities right off the bat. There's a lot of kind of really some low end coming out of the GT40, and I think that is in part due to the fact that it's ported in the back. So it's a closed cabinet design with a port to really give you some good bass response. And so it's a bit bassier right off the bat than the Blackstar, if you can believe it. That might be surprising given that one's an American, one's a British amp, both made in Taiwan. I'm kidding about that. They're, I think, China. But anyways, you know, so there's personalities that are different, but what I've dialed in is a very gainy, overdriven rock sound that's EQ'd as close as can be. And I say as close as can be because, again, kind of from a feature standpoint, on the Mustang GT40, you have a full EQ that you can go in and tweak in addition to the settings within the parameters of the menu. And on the Blackstar, you just don't have that. You basically have a voicing setting, so it's not full-on modeling with the Blackstar. You have voicings from warm, clean, overdrive, super crunch, a few other different overdrives. You have gain, volume, and then the EQ is the ISF knob, which is basically a global EQ that sweeps from you know, kind of a sparkly, clean American tone to the richer British tone that we all know and love. And then on your effects, you've got 3 buttons, modulation, delay, and reverb, with a panning switch for what kind of effect you want and the level that you want in it. So right now, we've got on reverb on the 3 type with the level knob at about 2-ish. So that's where we have on the Blackstar. For the Mustang GT40, I'm using preset number 62, which is a cranked Princeton, and the settings have been tweaked just a bit on there. I've adjusted the volume, the gain, and brought the treble up and the bass down in order to kind of give us a close comparison between this and the ID core from Blackstar. A few other things as far as feature-wise. The integrated handle in this is really cool. On these ID cores, if you haven't seen them before, they basically have a strap that detaches from the amp, which has its pros and cons. You can throw it over your shoulder. It's very portable. You could also lose it, and it's not integrated in. So this is a much more solid feel. I like that. There's also direct outs on this, USB on both, so that you can record with both of them. You have plugins on this for headphones, as well as an MP3 line in and a foot switch. Over here on the Mustang GT40, you have a headphone out and an headphone in and an aux in. You also have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth and USB. So again, from a feature comparison standpoint, for 50 bucks more, it's a landslide. But let's let you hear what they both sound like so you can draw your own conclusions based upon tone, because as so many of you know, that's often what we're chasing as guitar players. So we're going to take this tone machine, put it through these amps, A/B the heck out of it, see what you think. All right, without any further ado, let's get to it. Okay, so that's kind of the shootout between these two. Now, here's a cool thing though, and again, the Blackstar is going to be limited compared to this. We know right off the bat that this is a more feature-rich thing. So again, what do you get for 50 bucks more? You do get a lot of features. You also get some really cool presets. So we were playing around with it before we started the video, kind of going through all these cool presets. And I mean, there's one here named Madison Garden Lead. And talk about rock and roll, you can do stuff like this. You get to be Pink Floyd in your living room. Anyways, lots of fun. They're both great amps, but you know, from a tonal standpoint, which do you prefer? Do you like the overdrive that we're using, that one preset here in the GT40? Do you prefer the overdrive that's in the crunch mode of the ID Core 40, the Stereo 40? Do you prefer the clean tone of either? You know, there's a lot of tweakability over here, so you could probably dial in whatever sound you want. Is it worth $50 more? Now, that's the big question that you as a consumer have to make up in your mind. You know, here we are, there's a lot of amps on the market. There's a lot of amps like this on the market. They're all at different price points. They all have different features. So at the end of the day, if one costs more than the other, from a tone standpoint and feature standpoint, is it worth it? I know what I would do. I'm curious what you would do. So comment below and tell me which amp you preferred out of the pick. And if there's any comparisons you would like to see us do, please let us know in the comments below. I want to thank you as always for watching, and subscribe so that you'll be alerted when we do some more videos. Thanks.